VonAllen Sports.
Let's go, man. What
Yeah.
a freaking pay-per-view. That was money well spent, my friends.
Highlight, Amanda
Two
Nunes
words.
versus Juliana Pena, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was the biggest upset I've seen in a title fight since probably Matt Serra and George St. Pierre.
Yeah. I think it was. Especially, for a title fight, absolutely. We said it before the fight. She seemed to really, Juliana seemed to really believe she was going to do it. And she backed
She
it up,
did.
man. I knew somebody would eventually do it. It's just a matter of, was she the one? And yeah, obviously she was. So that was great. I didn't expect that.
No, I didn't either. I especially didn't expect her to beat her, on the feet with the hands.
Yeah.
That's Amanda Nunes that's where she lives, and just not even, just recently her doing that, what she did to Cyborg and what she did to Misha Tate and of course Ronda, which is no big deal for her. And then just everybody she's just been destroying that way. And it's like, Julianne is the last person I would have guessed that would have, seen her do that to Amanda.
Well, I did guess also right. Daniel Cormier said at least one or two completely stupid, wrong things like usual. He said during that fight, he goes, Amanda Nunes, just as good on the ground as she is as a stand-up fighter. Well, she's okay in the ground, but not as good as she is a stand-up. Not even close.
She looked lost.
No.
She looked lost. But
No.
of course, Daniel Cormier was saying that. Yeah. And then when Amanda Nunes had Juliana down and wasn't really doing anything, but Daniel goes, "This is good for Juliana." What the heck are you talking about? She's getting potentially submitted coming up here. It's not good for her. Man, he says some crazy stuff. But that
Well,
was
I
awesome,
think
man.
he did say a bunch of stupid stuff, but I think what he may have been thinking about when he said this is good for Juliana to be in that position is that it's making Amanda work, and then that way, the more work Amanda does, then when they get back on their feet in the second, third round or whatever, Amanda won't have that power in her punches to knock her out with.
Yeah,
and I think that's what he
he
meant.
probably didn't explain himself well. It's probably
I think that's
meant.
what he meant. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's what I would have thought.
Yeah. So that was great, man. And the main event too. How awesome was that? I was going for Charles. I'm happy he won.
Yeah, me too.
Dustin's lost on the ground. He's a great boxer, great puncher, but he doesn't have it on the ground. Same with Khabib. Same exact story. He doesn't know what to do. He kind of gives up.
Dustin's good on the ground when he's with against guys that are not spectacular on the ground.
Yeah,
Like he
yeah.
submitted Max Holloway. Really, he had a crazy leg triangle around his head while doing an armbar at the same time on Max Holloway. And that was earlier in their careers. But he can. I mean, he does have a ground game and he can submit people. But when it comes to people like Khabib or Oliveira, people that are at those higher levels of grappling, that's where you're right.
Somebody tell me what the heck happened there. I think it was the end of the first round. Charles Oliveira was trying to go for the armbar, and Dustin kind of spun and laid on his back. Didn't even go for a submission. I don't even know what that was about.
That was weird.
He basically put himself into a submission or into a, basically so Charles can get right on top. And I don't even know what the heck went on there. If that was a mistake or what. Did you see that?
He tried to spin out from going to having it, even though Dustin was was on his feet. He'd rather be in guard on his back than be up with Charles on his back, which exactly how he got beat. So that's what he was trying to get
stood
out.
up, which I don't know. Maybe just looked that way to me, but
Okay, so let's go over these real quick. The first fight, Sean O'Malley wins. So Roman, tell us the results of what did we choose?
we all chose Sean O'Malley.
Okay.
What was it? It was a round one TKO. I said TKO second. You both said decision, but so I was closest. We all picked Sean O'Malley to win that, so we all got that one.
He's gonna be a star, right?
I think he
keeps
is.
winning.
Jason. I think he's gonna go. I think he's gonna be the champ eventually.
Well, technically, he's a star already. He's probably one of the top 5 draws in the entire company already, as it is. But as far as like him being a star with his stature and the rankings and his resume, we don't know yet.
We don't know.
I mean, he hasn't fought any of the guys like the T.J. Dillashaws. He hasn't fought the Aljamain Sterlings or the Peter Yans or Josie Aldos and people like that. I mean, he's got a big list he's got to get to and beat even just one of those guys. We don't know. He's never actually fought a ranked fighter,
that's
so
true.
we don't know what he can really do.
Yeah, so but he keeps winning like this. He's got a bright future.
I think because that's because we haven't really seen him other than when he had that leg problem. Whatever happened there, he's always dominating by so much. I think he will do well in the upper rankings, but we'll see. Time will tell.
Well, for me, a star is, someone who is, McGregor or John Jones or Adesanya or something like that. Like everybody, he know him. Okay, I don't think he's quite there yet, but I think he will be. He's got to keep winning, obviously. But I mean, he seems to have that thing, that helps. Because I'm telling you guys, it's not just about winning fights. Okay, you got to sell the fights. People have to like you. People have to care about you and want to watch and click the pay-per-view button.
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't want to do that,
yeah, but are we talking about pay-per-view stars or fighting stars? There's a big difference because CM Punk is one of the biggest draws in the history of the UFC.
You need both. You need both.
You know what I just said?
Yeah, they were tuning in to see him get his ass kicked. That was...
But once again, that goes back to what's the actual criteria? Is it one or the other, or is it both?
No. You're just nitpicking. That's not what I mean. I'm talking about.
No. I don't know that because the guys you mentioned earlier, the fighters you mentioned earlier, every one of those guys are champions with big resumes. So
yeah, but there's also other champions that can't sell a pay-per-view, like Demetrius Johnson or Jose
but
Aldo.
The guys you mentioned have both. They have the championships and they have the star power both. You didn't mention anyone that has just star power only with no championships. So I need some.
I mentioned Conor.
Connor had that coming up before he was champion.
Connor was the first double division champion in the history of the UFC. Right, so he does have.
But before he was champ, he was one of the biggest stars. When he was just moving up the ranks, he was already.
I'm sorry. What are we talking about?
We're talking about Sean O'Malley. I think everybody's getting too hyped up on him right now. That's what I think.
No, I was just saying if he just wins some, I think he's got the charisma part, the attention part. Now he's just got to get the other part.
He just has to beat a few more ranked guys.
The belt. You need both. I mean, you need both as far as I'm concerned to be a real legitimate.
He's ranked now. He's going to be 15, so he's up in the top 15 now. So now he's just got to keep moving up.
I just think people underestimate the charisma side of it because, like I said, Demetrius Johnson was a champion for how long? Nobody wants to watch this guy fight. Nobody.
No.
Not even Dana White wants to watch this guy fight. Okay? I mean, he owns the freaking company, or he did. It's just no. It is important. It is important, and. I mean, come on. Let's look at Conor's resume. It's not that great compared to a lot of other champions and stuff like that. But why is he still considered up there? Because he's got the other side of it, and I think it's important. It's prize fighting, right? So the prize matters. And are you making money? Are you getting? That's what this is about too. It's not everything, but I think it's important.
It's a big part. I always judge by like watching the pre-fight press conferences.
It's some of the best parts of this.
That's the best part because the fights sometimes go by one round, a couple minutes.
Right.
What do we remember by this press conference? It was Sean O'Malley.
And actually the girls. The girls got me actually excited about it, the way they were talking to each other and stuff. That was pretty interesting.
Yep.
Okay. Kai Kara France versus Cody Garbrandt. What did we have?
We all picked Cody Garbrandt. And, man, I think Cody's not going to win anymore. He went down to 125 and lost that. And it's his chin, man. He just can't take a punch anymore. He was so good. He's a good boxer, but one punch and he gets wobbled. As soon as that first punch hit, the whole sequence started from there, So
I kind of wonder if he's been like that his whole career and we didn't know it because when he was beating everybody like nonstop before he got that Dominic Cruz fight and he was fighting for the title and all that, when he was coming up through the ranks and beating people, he never really got hit.
Yeah.
So we don't know. He could have been like that all along. We just didn't know it until TJ exposed it.
Because he's young. He's only like 31 or something, 32.
He's not. He might be that old now.
30.
But yeah,
he might be
he was
30. Yeah.
Yeah, but he could have been like that in his 20s because when TJ beat him the first time, what was it, 3-4 years ago?
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you because, generally your chin doesn't just go at 30. Usually it's a little bit later. So you might be right. Maybe he just never had a chin.
or 27. You know, when
We didn't know
did it.
because he never really got hit. A lot of his fights were first round
Yeah.
finishes. You're
They were,
right.
they were all one-sided. Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yep.
But man, I'll tell you what. Anytime in my mind, if I'm thinking of a fight where someone just really embarrassed somebody, I think of two things. I think of Cody Garbrandt and Dominic Cruz, and I think of Holly Holm and Ronda Rousey, where Holly was
man.
making Rousey fall down over herself. She made her look so stupid.
Yeah, and then actually Amanda and
that was
Rousey, that
embarrassing.
was ridiculous too. Rousey looked
Well,
like
Amanda, that was just a boxing beatdown. But I'm talking like as far as like skills,
Yeah.
like overall skills go. Holly Holm showed when she fought Ronda, it was everywhere. Ronda tried to take Holly down, and Holly was stronger than Ronda. Ronda tried to do her armbar stuff on her. She couldn't do it to Holly. Holly got to where she was actually taking Ronda down and out wrestling her. No one had ever done that to Ronda before in her career. Holly
Yeah.
beat Ronda in every aspect of that fight. Every
Well,
aspect.
and Ronda was just so shocked because she never had been dominated like that, and look on her face like, what's going on, you know?
Yeah, and when she was trying to take Holly down and do arm bars on, and she couldn't do it because Holly was actually better on the ground than Ronda was that night. Like she had nothing left. And when I think of master classes in the cage, I think of that fight, and I think of Cody and Dominic. That Cody Dominic fight. When you watch Cody fights, like who would have beaten him that night? Nobody. Like within 2 weight classes of him would have beat him that night.
Yep. I
Okay,
agree.
so we've got the pre-main event is a welterweight fight between Jeff Neal and Santiago Ponzinibbio, also known as Big Ears.
Why was Jeff Neal, DUI aside, why was he drinking a week before his fight? Does he think he's John Jones or something? I mean, dude.
You know, I don't know. A lot of guys do stuff like that when they got fights coming up. They just, you know, I told Aaron, I'm not sure I don't think if we were live when he said that, but I told Aaron during the fight, I said, you know, Jeff Neal's physique even looks different. He looks like he hasn't been training like he used to. It doesn't look like he's in the shape he was in before. Like he's just kind of been skating by, you know? So I don't know.
I think it was Thanksgiving.
Fighter.
In all fairness, maybe he was just, you know, that day.
Well, look at everybody. Yeah, but the other fighters had Thanksgiving too.
Maybe they got drunk too. They just didn't drive like an idiot, you know.
So Roman, what were the results for that fight? For
You
us?
picked Jeff Neal by TKO.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, but Jeff Neal, he won by.
Jeff Neal won by decision.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And okay, so now who did we pick?
You picked Jeff Neal, TKO, and then Jason and I picked Santiago. So you got that one. Damn, you're picking all the right ones.
Nice. I just want to welcome a few people who commented here. Elf of Courage, welcome. Jalen, welcome back. Thank you. Phil Williamson, I just realized you were here. Sorry, man. Shout out to you. Nightwalker, man. Nightwalker doesn't sleep. That's why he's called Nightwalker, right? He's in Germany, dude. But he's complaining because the German TV won't broadcast the UFC. So, man, Germany has changed a lot. Okay.
Or are they going back to what they were?
Well, it depends on how. Okay, I made that argument in my university. I made that argument that they were this. You know, the European Union is basically the Fourth Reich, but that's a different channel, and we should talk about that. Bill Murray's here.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray, yeah. Bill Murray.
I loved it. I loved you in Groundhog Day.
I love that movie. Mm-hmm. Also, What About Bob is really great too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
Okay, so now the co-main event, although I don't know what that means, I think that's a dumb phrase. There's no such thing as co-main event. There's only the main event.
Well,
like, I don't understand why they say that.
When it's two championship fights, it makes more sense, right?
Co-main event.
Yeah, but they say
that's a contradiction in terms, is it not?
No, if there's two of them. I mean, it's a
but they use
main event.
Yeah, but the problem is though, as Roman's saying, makes sense in this instance. But the problem is they say co-main event on every single card, even if it's like a regular ordinary fight night Apex card with nothing on the line. They always use co-main event for the second fight, no matter what's going on, and that's overused.
Yeah.
And
that's
is
what
dumb.
I mean. It makes a little more sense now, but yeah, I get it.
Oh yeah, Jalen mentioned Ghostbusters. Bill Murray was in Ghostbusters. That's good too. So we've got Amanda Nunes defending one of her belts, her bantamweight belt in this case, against Juliana Pena. All right, Roman, tell us the results and tell us our results.
Well, Juliana Pena, KO. Or was it TKO? Yeah, TKO, second round.
No, submission.
It was a rear
Submission.
naked
Submission.
choke.
It was submission.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't write that down.
No, she just beat the shit out of her before she did a rear naked choke, and that's what you're thinking about.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, she beat her in every facet. She beat her on the ground, beat her on stand up. There was Amanda just lost it. I really think it was Amanda who was just worried about being a star. You know, she's just looking overly confident. Going into that, like worrying about her kid on stage and wife or whatever, and all this other stuff, seemed like she wasn't focused on that fight. You know,
She was too concerned with being a celebrity, and that's what I saw during the prelims and all that. And even during when her and Juliana were, talking back and forth with each other in the press conference, the pre-fight press conference, and I just saw she kind of come off as more worried or concerned about just being famous and showing off her family, and like you're saying, and she's got 2 belts. And when you've got 2 belts, you can mentally, somewhere in the back of your mind, you can afford to lose one.
Yeah, she lost it. She's still a champion now.
And she just said in her post fight press conference that, or I mean in the in-ring comments, she said, what did she say? I checked out or something. I mentally checked out. Like, you could tell. Like, something was not right about her, and I picked up on that before, but...
You guys got to agree that she deserves a rematch.
Oh, yeah. Well, Pena said if
Hold
she
on,
wins,
hold
she'll
on,
give her a rematch. So
I know they said it before, but why does she deserve a rematch?
Because when you're in this particular case, I agree with you on other instances, but this particular case, when you dominated for that many title defenses, I think it just automatic.
Why is that though?
Because you dominated being a champion for that amount of years. You just deserve it.
So once you win a certain amount of defenses, the rules become best 2 out of 3. Is it going to be 3 out of 4 after that, then 5 out of 7?
Not necessarily. Depends how the next fight goes. If Amanda Nunes destroys her, then
again, it's 2 out of 3.
Well, if they ever fight again, it depends. It wouldn't be back to back though. The third one.
I don't believe in immediate rematches. I believe in rematches I don't believe in immediate rematches no matter who you are. I believe in unless there's a controversy in the finish. If she beats her decisively like she did tonight, and you got Amanda's hand doing this right here, that does not deserve a rematch because she got beat, and that's the end of the story. It doesn't matter how many. It's not like, okay, well, I'm on defense number 3 or I'm on defense number 6. That means I'm automatically entitled to a best 2 out of 3.
Nah, I don't agree. I think in cases like when somebody, Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, you go that long, and if you happen to lose, I think you deserve it.
But why is that? Are you calling it a fluke? Is that why they do that? If it's not a fluke, then why do they get a rematch if it's not a fluke?
Because you've proven and you've done so much for so many years. It's just you earned it.
Once again, that goes back to my other question. So once you get to a certain amount of title defenses, does that automatically change the rules to where you're entitled to best 2 out of 3 from that point on?
Not 2 out of 3, just 2.
That's what it is. I mean, that's literally what it is. That's what an immediate rematch is. It's 2 out of 3. If you do immediate rematch, it's best 2 out of 3. That's what that is. It's literally what that means. So from now on, they need to make a rule, according to what you're saying, that once you reach a certain amount of title defenses, from that point on, everything you do is best 2 out of 3. Is that what you're saying? So they change that, make that a rule.
Well, not 3 though. I don't agree with the 3 thing.
There's no way around it. It's fact. It's not my opinion. That's math. It's best 2 out of 3 is what you're saying. Immediate rematches means best 2 out of 3.
2 out of 2. 2 out of 2.
No, it doesn't mean 2 out of 2 because in the immediate rematch, if the person wins, they got to give the champion that just won the belt. They always have a trilogy, just like we're seeing with Figueiredo and Moreno.
No, I don't agree with the trilogy thing necessarily. So I don't agree with that. So I don't think 2 out of 3.
No, if Oliveira had lost tonight, he doesn't deserve a rematch.
Exactly.
Like, it's
of course not. I don't think anybody does.
No.
I think no matter who you are, if you lose the belt to somebody, you got to work your way back to it. You got to win another fight at least.
But you are there because you did 5, 6 defenses in a row. You are the number 1 contender at that point. right?
Well, but they can stay there one contender for the rest of their lives. I mean, you can't. Once again, that goes back to: does everybody at a certain point deserve an immediate rematch? Is that an automatic entitlement? Like, should that be a rule change?
I don't know. That needs to be a rule. It's an unspoken rule. Just like
I don't know.
I don't think it should be a rule change. But
You can't have
rule.
unspoken rules because that's not fair to fighters.
It's up to Dana.
Yeah,
actually,
it's kind of like are you really the champion until you defend your belt?
So
It's
now,
not a rule,
now you have unfairness to people. Because you got people that deserve it and don't get it. People that don't deserve it, they get it based on what Dana says.
Deserve and earn,
No, that's what Roman's saying. Roman said actually uses the word deserve in his point.
You do deserve, because she earned it in many facets.
That's not
she deserves it by winning.
You shouldn't be telling me deserves got nothing to do with it. Quote that to Roman. He's the one who's using the word deserve, not me.
No, but she does deserve it because.
I just wanted
because
she brings
in people. She brings in people. She's a star.
Anybody.
She's a big star, right? So not only is she bringing in people to all these pay-per-views, on top of that, she's defended and won this amount of however many times it's been, 5, 6, 7, whatever it is.
It's just how it is, dude. In the history of fighting, longtime champions get a rematch. This is how it works.
And it's
there's a difference between a rematch and immediate rematch. There's a difference.
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes you need recovery time, and the other person's fine. It just really depends. But it doesn't have to be immediate.
What you do is when you believe in that, you start a trend, you set a precedent. And then my proof is,
well, it's always been that way. It's been that way since.
No. You guys didn't let me finish. The precedent I'm talking about is the last pay-per-view, 2 pay-per-views ago. Who did Rose Namajunas fight?
The one before this. Wang Li, whatever her name is.
Why did she fight her?
Because she was given a rematch that she didn't deserve.
Yeah, she was given a rematch she didn't deserve, right?
How come she didn't deserve it? Because she didn't defend
she never
it
defended
maybe one
the
time?
title. She never defended it, I don't think. Did she? No, maybe once, if that.
Nope. She won it from Joanna.
Yep.
No, she didn't win it from Joanna. She won it from Jessica, the little girl from Brazil. What's her name?
You say Jessica? No.
Jessica, the little lesbian girl, little chunky girl. What's her name?
I can't, it escapes me right now. But anyway, so she never defended it, huh?
Jessica Andrade.
Okay. Yes. Oh yeah.
So she defended it. She defended it against Joanna. One time.
Okay. I don't think she deserved a rematch. I don't think that case she deserved it.
But again, that just shows you that everything is at the mercy of what Dana thinks.
Yeah.
So, or what he wants.
Yep.
He gave what's her name? Li Ji, whatever the hell her name is.
Zhang Wali.
Zhang Wali, yeah.
Wali.
Whatever. Because we know that there's a China market that they're trying to open up, basically. So.
But don't forget the UFC is partly owned by China.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And also it wasn't good because there were probably a lot of other fighters that would have been a more exciting fight than that. So on many levels, it wasn't even right, So I'm not saying it should always be. It's just you're a champion.
Rose Namajunas was a former champion, and she beat Joanna twice for the belt, right? She beat her twice. Now, what would happen if Wali would have beat Rose this fight? What would have happened? Well, they made Rose work her way back to it, or would they give Rose an immediate rematch?
What was the sequence? So, Wali was champion, right? And Rose took it from her.
Yeah.
Okay. How long was Wali the champion before that?
One fight.
Wali loses to Rose. No.
No, Rose probably wouldn't have got a back-to-back rematch. No.
Okay. Well, how about this though? We got to we're going to count all the variables here. So, Wali Zhang won the belt from Jessica Andrade, and she defended it against Joanna. Okay? So Rose beat Jessica Andrade. She beat Joanna twice, and Rose was the champion before all of them. Mm-hmm. So Rose has the history more than anybody in that entire tandem right there put together. Yep. So why wouldn't she get a rematch based off of that?
Because she wasn't the champion for 5 or 7 years or something like that.
It's broken. The chain is broken.
Yeah, chain is broken.
Okay, so what
I'm saying you 4, 5, 6, 7 title defenses.
Okay, we got to put a number on this though. How many title defenses does it take? 3, 4, 5, or 6 or 7?
How you lost. Jose Aldo didn't get one.
Amanda got her ass beat in every aspect of the fight tonight.
Yeah.
There's no way she needs a rematch for that. She doesn't get a do-over like that. This is crazy.
I don't know if she's getting one. I was answering a question. Jalen asked us, is she getting a rematch? And I just know that Pena said that She goes, her words, she goes, when I win, I will give Amanda a rematch.
I know. They always say that because they're excited about winning. But my point is, it doesn't matter if she agrees to it or not. Should they make that a rule where people get a meat matches because they have a certain amount of defenses?
No, they shouldn't make it a rule.
I think it's up to Dana and what he thinks is going to work, and it can't be just.
The people want to see it. I want to see it.
Okay. Well, how about this?
It.
Stipe Miocic holds the record for the most title defenses in heavyweight history by anyone ever. He did not get an immediate rematch. He had to work his way back.
Right. See, that's only 2. I'm not saying 2. I'm saying like 5, 6.
It's not 2 defenses.
Or was it 3? Maybe 3 then.
He defeated it twice in a row, didn't he?
Yeah, twice.
3.
Only twice. 3 times?
Was it 3?
3.
He did 3.
But the thing is,
then
though,
maybe he should have. Yeah.
No, but guys, listen. Defending your belt 3 times in men's heavyweight is different from defending your belt 30 times in the girls division. Okay, it's different because listen to me, guys. In the girls division, it's like tennis or something. You get 1 or 2 girls that's here, and the other 10 are down here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah.
It's not hard to be a long-time champion when you're a girl. Look at Valentina. Okay,
no. Look
at Ronda Rousey. It's not hard to do that.
Not compared to heavyweight.
But you look at the heavyweights, and you got this whole history of the heavyweight division. And only one guy in the history has defended it 3 times.
Similar with the lightweight, like Demetrius Johnson. To your point, like those guys too, they don't have the talent level. The same thing, like Demetrius Johnson and all those other guys. That's why he was the champion for so long. To your point, there,
Okay, but I'm not finishing my point though. The heavyweight defensive 3 times, you can't go by the number. You got to go by what it is.
Yeah,
he had to work his way. Stipe had to work his way back to the belt. After setting the record of all time for heavyweight defenses, he had to work his way back.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to put a number on this thing because people are getting ripped off. Then Stipe got gypped, and
it happens.
People who when Weili Zhang defends it 1 time and she gets an immediate rematch, Stipe doesn't. It's uneven. It's not right though. So if you're going to have that mentality, you got to put a number on this to make it legit for everybody. Otherwise, it's just matchmaking. People just deciding it's just everything's just a muck, and there's no rhyme or reason to anything.
You just described prize fighting, Jason.
Yeah, that's prize fighting. Now that's why boxing doesn't have the.
Well, don't have rankings then. They shouldn't have rankings. You can't have rankings do prize fighting at the same time. It's retarded.
Now you can take it to another level. Boxing is just about making matches that make no sense. There's no order to the. At least with the UFC, there is. You still have to have the belt mean something. The belt means something in the UFC where it doesn't in boxing anymore. To me, it used to maybe, but definitely not anymore because it's just about.
Well, they should just abolish the rankings then. They're just going to put whatever they want to make some.
Well, then
money
the belt
to
won't
do that.
mean anything.
Exactly. No, they got to have the belt because that's what makes them sell a pay-per-view. There's a belt on the line. That's what gets the casual people involved.
Well, anyway, that's why it can't be a rule. It could be like
case by
case. You're saying, in heavyweight, Stipe's situation is different than. So, like the girls, for example.
I don't think any of them are different. I'm not saying Stipe should have gotten an immediate rematch. I don't think he should either. I'm just saying, why didn't he?
No, I'm saying when you made the point that heavyweight is a bit different. That right there alone shows that it can't be a set in stone rule, or it's just got to be up to Dana, or so. So with Amanda and Pena. Submission. Who did we pick, Roman? Or what was the details of our picks?
Well, I picked, and Jason thought that Amanda was going to win. I was going for Juliana, but I thought Amanda was going to win, and you thought Juliana would win. And you said by decision. But,
I said by decision, yeah.
But either way, you got the pick right. So.
Okay.
Brings us to the main.
Next, we have Oliveira and Poirier. Roman, what was the outcome, and then our picks?
Charles Oliveira. By submission, was it third round?
I think it was second.
Third round.
It was third. It was third round submission. Yeah. Jason and I picked the second round sub, but it actually was third. And you picked Dustin Poirier to win that against your own judgment, I think. Well, I think you just. Was that the case?
Had a bad feeling about it.
A bad feeling.
Every time I pick against Poirier, he wins, and it's just something was weird. But this is one of those situations where I'm happy about the outcome, so I don't really care.
Yeah. Well, I was happy. Me too. I was happy to lose that one. So Aaron got 4 out of 5 right. Damn. Should have been Betting. I got 3 out of 5, and Jason got 3 out of 5. I think I deserve a rematch on my picks.
You want a rematch?
Yeah.
All right, next month you get a rematch.
Yeah.
Do you deserve it?
I deserve it.
Do you deserve it? Okay.
That's pretty
Melania,
good.
Too bad we didn't
You're
bet.
actually-
Hey, we got a society of do-overs. Let's have at it.
I mean, Odson Mate says, I missed the main event. Did Oliveira dominate? Kind of. So in the first round, I think I gave the first round to Dustin. Dustin rocked him a few times.
It was close, but I agree with
knocked
you.
him down twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was in the first round, I think.
Yep,
and
it was.
Second round was completely dominated by Oliveira, and then in the third, he just finished off. Dustin.
Yeah, once he got into the ground, it was basically Dustin just fighting for his life the whole fight.
Yeah, I'm surprised that, how much Oliveira reminds me of. I mentioned it during the fight of Adesanya as far as like the way they kind of move and
Movements.
Yeah, the movements. I'm not saying they look alike or anything, but just something about him reminds me of him a bit, and the way he got like wrapped around him, got on his body while Dustin was still standing. He just kind of consumed him like a spider almost, It's just that was awesome.
Yeah, that was really good.
This guy, if he can keep from getting rocked so often, I mean, I know it's easier said than done, but he might have a future. What do you think? A future as champion, I mean, like a long-term deal.
I think he might be the champion. After seeing that performance, I think at least a couple years, 2-3 years, I'm guessing he might stay up there.
What do you think, Jason?
I think if he beats Gaethje, he'll be champion for a good while, if he wants to be.
Gaethje?
Is he next in line, Gaethje?
Yeah, he's definitely fighting Oliveira for the title next.
So
I don't think you'll be seeing Conor putting out a tweet tomorrow morning about Charles Oliveira.
No. See him in Poirier.
Conor doesn't want any part of Charles. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, well, if he got Conor to the ground, we've seen that's his weakness, obviously.
Well, the thing is, it's not just that. Even on the feet, Charles is long, and McGregor doesn't do well with taller, longer fighters. He's better with short guys and guys who see. Conor, people don't realize this. Even though he's only 5'9", he has a very long reach for a guy his height. He's got like a 74-inch reach, and that's really loud. Some guys in the light heavyweight division have that reach. So he's got a really long reach for his height. When he was in the 145s, he was basically fighting midgets, and he had that long reach. That's why he beats everybody so easily. But he fights, taller guys like, Nate Diaz, people like that. He's going to have a problem with people like that. Charles Oliveira is as long as Conor is, but he's actually really skilled, and he's young, and he's in his prime, and he's champion. I don't know. I just don't think Conor wants that fight.
I could see Conor fighting him, and with his accuracy, because even in the first round, he was Poirier was dominating him in the boxing, and
but you fight people differently. Oliveira wouldn't do that against Conor because you got to pick everyone individually. For instance, what if you're fighting Dominic Cruz? You're going to take more risks because he's not just going to straight up knock you out. Mm-hmm. He might tap you up and pepper you up a little bit, but he's not going to knock you out. Dustin Poirier's the same way. Dustin Poirier does not have one punch knockout. I don't know anyone he's ever knocked out with a punch before. How many times has McGregor done it? Most of his career. Yeah. So I don't think Oliveira won't be crazy and reckless with Conor McGregor like he is with Poirier, because he knows Poirier. He knows he can take chances with Dustin, and he's like, okay, well, from getting touched up, all I got to do is back off and not do it as much. But until then, I want to take my chances. Yeah. Well, with Conor, you don't go into a Conor fight thinking, okay, with Conor, I'm going to take my chances. You don't get a second chance most of the time. Once he catches with the good left, he's gonna get you wobbled. He's gonna sleep you, one or the other. Yeah. So he wouldn't do that. So we can't say that Oliveira is going to get knocked out by Conor because of what Dustin did to him tonight. It's Oliveira's game plan. His game plan would be that way.
Yeah, the style is definitely, because you never could judge by, I beat this guy, and you lost to him, so I'm going to win against you. The style matchups always are definitely.
Well, it's not just the style matchup; it's the game planning. Oliveira would not game plan the Conor fight like he did Dustin. Yep. That's all. So I don't think if he got put away, yeah, it might happen, but he's not going to be reckless like he was with Dustin taking those shots. He wouldn't.
It's going to be interesting to see how Conor comes back, because he's all those pictures of him looking like weighing 190 and looking all buff. So
yeah, he's huge.
I don't know if it's going to help or hurt him. It's hard to know.
I think he might be trying to come back at welterweight.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Russell Curie just commented, Donier just liver punched Cabello on PBC Showtime. Must be a boxing match. I don't know who those guys are.
I don't know.
I don't watch boxing. I want to know the guys that everybody else knows in boxing.
I know the biggest guys, but with boxing,
Yeah.
I only watch heavyweight. I don't care about, and I would have to know about what's going on, but although I do like boxing, it's just, I don't know who these guys are, but I mean, if they're smaller though, I don't really care. It's the same way with UFC too. If they're too small, I don't care. Actually, Poirier's and Conor, this weight class here, that's probably the smallest I'm interested to, for the most part. There might be exceptions for.
Well, yeah, the first fight tonight, or the Cody Garbrandt. They're pretty exciting. And
it was okay. But
all right.
I have a problem bringing myself to care. It's just when they're too, so. Absolutely, Russell. How you doing, man? Yeah, Jalen. Episode 4 of Man in the Arena gave me PTSD again. It brought back some bad memories.
Bad memories.
I don't blame Asante Samuel. Well, we'll talk about that tomorrow, but I think you got me confused with someone else. I'm the one that did blame Rodney Harrison. Yeah. The other guys used to say that about Asante Samuel, but yeah. Russell Curry says perfect liver shot in round 4, the Filipino Flash. That's cool. That's right. We are VonAllen Sports. That means anything, even cricket. If someone wants to talk about cricket, I was a fool one time and told a former friend of mine that I would watch a game of cricket, and it lasted a week. What an asshole. Alan Wilder, Jason. He made a deal with me. Told me to. I asked him if he'd watch a Patriots game, and he said only if you watch a cricket game. So I watched a cricket match. It lasted like 5 days.
Really? You aren't being sarcastic?
It was stupid.
Really, they last
and then he
crazy.
never watched the football game. Totally screwed me over, man. I was like, that's not right.
2 friends going to a tattoo parlor getting matching tattoos. The first friend gets the tattoo. The second one says, hey, you know what? Look at the time. I got to go. Right? Is that the same thing?
That's the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. Totally wrong. But, yeah, I hate when after you make a pick, I said Pena would win, but I didn't put money on it, right? So if you don't put money on it, does it really mean anything? If you don't put money on it, it means you're just pissing in the wind, right? You're just guessing, hoping that it doesn't come back on you, right? That's kind of how it works.
It would have been 6-1 on betting on her too, the Vegas odds.
But the only hunch I had was just I just thought Amanda was looking past her. That was the only thing I had to go on, and apparently that was enough. So
now is Amanda going to defend her belt up at 145 next?
Well, I'm sure she will. And if Kayla Harrison gets signed, I think Kayla's going to take that belt from her, and Amanda won't have any.
Where's she fighting now?
She's fighting in PFL, but she's a free agent now. She just won her second year in a row $1 million tournament 2 years in a row, and she doesn't have any challengers over there. She knocks everybody off like they're nothing.
Okay.
She's basically the modern day cyborg of that, and she's also an Olympic judo person like Ronda Rousey was, but Kayla's actually tough. She's like a tough brawler, where Ronda wasn't. But I think, and Kayla's big too. So I think if Kayla's as big as Amanda Nunes, if she comes over to UFC and fights in featherweight, then I think she'll take her belt from Amanda. Her and Amanda are actually training partners together.
Oh, wow.
They work out together, so that'll be fun to see how that goes.
That'd be something if Amanda lost that belt next to. That'd be crazy.
Okay,
Yeah.
Wrestle Curie says Kayla's a free agent now.
Yeah, so I just said.
Okay.
She's a free agent right now. She gets the last place she's fighting with is PFL.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you. I was reading, keeping up with the comments here. And Jalen asked, could Pena make 145 and fight Amanda and take that belt?
That might be a different fight for two reasons. One is because Amanda will be, she will have less of a weight cut to go, and she'll have more, like water in her brain to take absorb punches with. And she'll also be even bigger than Juliana Pena will be. Like the size difference will be even more contrasted than it is this time. I think that's a bad fight. I don't think Juliana is going to do that.
No, they actually at the pre-press conference, somebody asked her something like that, and she's like, "No, I'm comfortable at this weight. I'm not even interested in that." Something.
Yeah,
like
she's
that.
not going to go up. There's no reason to do that. If they did anything, they'd give Holly another crack at her.
Yeah, Holly's big. She could definitely fight. Is that?
Yeah.
Where's Holly fight normally? 135?
She fights at 135 her whole career, but at 145 she's had several fights there since they started the division. Right. She actually does better at 135 though.
Yep.
She lost against Cyborg and Nunes at 145.
Yep.
Don't be surprised if Nunes gets caught for PEDs tomorrow when her test comes back.
Yeah.
Well, she's been manly for years now, so
Not
I don't know.
This was an exceptionally bad tonight.
Signs of using steroids, right? When you get breaking out like that, her whole face was broken out like I've never seen.
Yep. Yeah, it's one of the number one signs.
Have you guys seen Kamaru Usman?
Yeah,
it's awful. Yeah. It's awful. It's all over him, dude. Maybe he needs to eat more green beans, right, Jason?
I don't know.
Chris Pearl, remember?
Yeah, I remember.
You told me that. Let's see. Yeah, that's interesting. It would change the fight completely, wouldn't it? If she was at 145.
Yeah, that's not even a question.
Yeah.
There's nobody in the UFC right now that's going to beat Amanda at 145. I think the only way she loses is if Kayla comes over. Which
she most certainly probably will, right?
She's been showing up at the UFC fights for about 2 months now, being in the crowd. She was there tonight. I don't know if you saw them show her or not, but she was in the audience tonight. And she was in there a few fights ago as well. And she's been showing up at a lot of the fights. And Dana said that he's not interested in signing her about 2 or 3 weeks ago. But then this week he comes out and says that he may sign her anyway. It's like, I don't know. You don't know. Vince McMahon is wanting to talk to her too.
Interesting. Yeah, sometimes when there are negotiations, he probably didn't want to seem overly anxious to sign her. Potentially, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Hey,
sometimes
go ahead.
I said sometimes their managers get them to talk with other people just to look like that they're desired,
right?
To run up their price. Like they'll actually set up a meeting with Vince, knowing that she'll never ever do WWE, but just because Vince and Dana usually the top two dogs when it comes to negotiating. Like when they were negotiating for people, it was always those two guys, So I think that's kind of one of the things too. But I don't know. I think that she doesn't really need to play those games because she's already like the hottest free agent out there in MMA right now. So, she's already worth something as it is. But yeah.
Russell Curie just said Navy won over Army in the football game. Jason, woohoo! Navy wins. We're a Navy family, so that's awesome.
Thanks for fixing my green screen, Aaron.
You're welcome. Yeah, I just was like, what's going on here?
What's up next? What's the next pay-per-view?
That's so funny. I was literally about to say that.
I'm gonna pull it up here. I know
we got a good fight night with Calvin Cater and Jigi Chikadze headlining it. That's gonna be a good fight. They're both stand-up guys. Chikadze's a karate guy.
Say his name again.
Fun. Chikadze.
Now say it 3 times fast.
Giga Chikadze.
Ah, that's good. That was pretty good. Good job.
He's a fun fighter to watch.
I'm really looking forward to Cyril Gane and Ngannou.
Ngannou.
Cyril Gane?
That's gonna be awesome, dude. Cyril Gane.
I
My
thought
cereal's gone.
Weren't you looking really, really more forward to the co-main event of that one? Brandon Moreno versus Figueiredo?
Oh my
See,
god.
that trilogy should not be happening right now.
You mean that Moreno guy who cries in the ring every time he wins?
That division shouldn't be happening right now.
Jesus.
No.
The who gives a shit division.
Have you guys seen the footage of Ngannou and Cyril sparring?
Oh wait, no, I didn't see that one.
Yes.
They used to be training partners for like 4 years back in France.
I saw him walk by him, gave him a cold.
Yeah,
like,
that whole thing.
Dude, Ngannou is a scary mother. You know, that dude. How it? Okay. All right, guys. I love questions like this. You fight for your life. You've got to survive 5 rounds. And if you survive, you get $10 million. Okay? You got to survive 5 rounds. It doesn't matter how many times you get knocked out. You just got to keep going. Although he can't hit you while you're asleep. You got to wake up, and then he can knock you the F out again. So they'll throw water on your face. Get up, get up, get up. Ngannou or Brock Lesnar?
Brock.
Okay, Roman?
Oh man, I don't know. I think I could probably more of a chance to run away from the Ngannou, and then Brock Lesnar charges you like a bull.
Run away.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that came to your mind. I can run
guys
away.
Are so big, man. You're talking 285, 290.
Dude, Lesnar is the fastest moving Lesnar is the fastest moving heavyweight that's ever fought in any organization. That guy moves like a welterweight, dude.
Yeah. especially in that first fight with not first fight, but with Heath Herring, man. He literally came out looking like a monster. He charged him like a bull. That fight, and he charged him across the ring like a bull, took him down.
Dude. Even on the ground, he scrambles like Mighty Mouse, dude. When he's on the ground, he's so fast, dude. Yeah. He's an athletic dude, man. Yeah, Brock Lesnar is athletic. But the reason why I said I'd rather be put in a cage with Brock in this situation, because Brock could feel comfortable just kind of like going to the ground and like wrestling me a little bit, and I could survive with a few punches for an extra few seconds, maybe.
Yeah.
I love Roman's. I love Roman's complete honesty here. Yeah. Like instead, like most people say, well, maybe I could out wrestle Ngannou, or maybe I could survive. No. Well, I think I could probably run away from Ngannou.
What else are you gonna do? I mean,
that's what I'm saying though. It's like complete honesty.
Realistically, even like the guys that are smaller than me, maybe not the tiniest guys, but they're so trained. These guys, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna run.
What are you gonna do? I love people who think they can just beat some of these guys because they're.
I know.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Some guys that's never been in a cage before think they can beat John Jones. You never know.
Yeah. Yep.
Steven, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but you did say it. In Steven's defense, a few years later, I brought it up, and he goes, "Why did I say that? That was stupid." Yep. So like he gets it now. But
hey, Casey Watterson, you know what he said about Bruce Lee?
He said he was going to lick Bruce Lee's ass.
That's right.
What?
That's what he said.
That's right. He did. Casey has no idea that we remember that, and I bet you he doesn't even remember saying it. That's what's the problem. Yep. So when we were kids, I had a bunch of friends over, and you know how you try to say 2 sentences, you accidentally say 2 things at the same time in the same sentence. He couldn't figure out if he was going to say I could kick Bruce Lee's ass, or if I could lick him, like beat him in a fight.
Yeah, back in the old days, for you young people watching, back in the old days when you beat somebody up, they said you licked him. Like I could lick him, that meant beating him up. And he
combined the worst two, and said I could lick Bruce Lee's ass.
Oh my god.
We're like, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Bruce will let you, but that's kind of weird. But Okay, so here's how you determine the GOAT in combat sports. Okay, all this crap about Joe Rogan, Demetrius Johnson is one of the GOATs. Huh? Okay, first of all, that doesn't make sense. But okay,
But Joe only says that when he was calling his fights, he doesn't say that crap afterwards. Dana White used to say it, but then Dana White traded him for friggin' what's his name?
Ben Askren.
Ben Askren, yeah.
My God.
So a guy that's that dominant, and he's and so obviously they were just saying it just to hype the fight. So, but people do say it. I've heard it by other people.
Okay, so people say it's Khabib. Some people say it's George St. Pierre. How about this? Of all the people who are contenders, I'm not talking about just any random person, but the ones who actually have a legitimate argument. Aliens have invaded Earth, and they have their best fighter, and we have to pick our best fighter to win, to defend Earth. Who do you put in the octagon?
Who do you put out of the people's prime, talking like of all time?
Yeah, we have a machine where we can put that fighter in his prime and put him in there at like 30 years old, right at his peak. Who do you put in the octagon to defend the Earth?
It's got to be John Jones.
It's got to be John Jones, right, Jason?
Probably, or Don Fry when he was in Pride. Yeah. He's not the, you take away the, the portfolio and all that stuff, and you just think of somebody who's going to like be a warrior to the death. That's Don Fry, man.
Yeah, but their technical abilities.
But we don't know what we need. We don't know if we need technical abilities, or we don't know if we need a warrior.
Okay, well, the aliens fighter is a technical fighter. He's a great at what he does. He's very skillful. Okay, but he's also strong. He's also tough, and all those things. But you've got to win. Surviving's not enough. You've got to actually defeat this person. You've got to kill this alien fighter. Who else are you going to put in there? And that to me matters. That right there. It's like, this is fighting. Okay. I don't care how good you are in your own little niche. That's fine. Good for you. But does it really matter? I mean, nobody's sitting there talking about any girl in the WNBA as one of the GOATs of basketball. All right. It's just stupid to say that. And it's the same applies here. Although I'm not calling these lighter weight guys girls, but you still get the comparison there. But Jalen says he picks George St. Pierre or Khabib. That's interesting. Earth is doomed. I think. So,
man, it's going to be great to see what Jones does at heavyweight. I can't wait. Actually, that's hopefully they get that worked out in the next few months, because it's especially if he fights Francis. I mean, he could get knocked out, but if he doesn't, he's gonna be something else, man. If he fights half as good as he did at light heavyweight, his technical abilities and speed are so above the heavyweight. So even if he slows down a bit, even if he slows down 25%, he's still going to be twice as fast as a lot of these guys, I think.
Yeah, I've seen his footage recently. He has slowed down a lot, it seems like. But, once again, at heavyweight, he's still going to be faster than a lot of them.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe that's why he moved up to heavyweight too. I mean, it made the decision easier for him. So he knew that he was slowing down, and probably maybe cutting weight was even becoming a hassle. Not that he couldn't do it, but maybe it was. That's what happens when you get a little older.
Well, that's still just putting on that much weight.
He's so
muscle
big.
Mass is going to slow down. So.
But when he was young, in his early in his career, you could tell he had problems gaining weight. Like he was a skinny, bony dude, And but now he doesn't have that problem. Now he's just huge. But what's good, John? In my opinion, John is playing with house money. All right.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to heavyweight and loses to someone, a big time guy or a big champion like Ngannou. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything at what he's achieved. at light heavyweight. Doesn't change anything. But if he goes and wins, my God, that's just ridiculous. You know, people keep saying, "Oh, Khabib is undefeated. Khabib is undefeated." Well, so is John Jones. Okay, tell me, who has he lost to? For real,
That's right.
For real. Who's he lost to? No one has beaten John Jones. Okay?
He went through the whole division once or twice, a couple of guys, you know. I mean, Glover has the belt now, right? And if Jones went back, I mean, it was not even a competition when he fought Jones, right?
John fought killers in their prime.
Yep.
Khabib fought nobodies who were, most of them were unranked until the last 5-6 fights of his career.
Yeah.
Big difference. And he didn't even have a belt. John's been doing it the whole time he was champion.
All right.
You know?
How about this?
That's not even close. That's just a stupid argument for Khabib. It's just dumb. Everybody worships that guy for no reason.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
It's it's the undefeated thing, but that's one aspect, and you just called it. But he hasn't fought that many 3 title defenses, so that doesn't mean anything at that point if you don't keep going. And he just entering his prime, I would say, at what, early 30s. Come on.
I still think if he would have fought Michael Chandler 3 years ago, Chandler would beat him. I just think their skill. I think Chandler just would have his number at.
I think Ferguson would have beat him before Ferguson slowed down. I think Ferguson.
I agree. I think Ferguson would have had a great
fight scheduled. Yeah.
Yeah, the first 2 or 3 scheduled fights they had, I think Ferguson would have won any one of those 2 or 3.
I really think he would have. Yeah.
Yeah, Jalen. Yeah, John on his record has technically 1 loss, but what I was saying is that no one's actually
beat him. Who's beaten John?
Who has beaten John? That loss was him doing a 12-6 elbow on a guy he had already beaten to death.
And the referee was the worst referee ever.
Didn't stop it.
Didn't stop it. He's like looking at him like, "You want me to keep going?"
What if John had a loss on his record because he didn't make weight? I mean, does that mean he got beat by something? I don't know. I don't count that as a loss in my mind.
It's not a loss. I mean, it's not.
He should. I mean,
yeah. He eventually got fired. I think Dana White would talk so much crap on that ref. But no, that loss is a blemish that shouldn't be there. It's not. It's not real.
Well, I mean, if you get disqualified for breaking the rules, you should be there. But no one should say that's like he got beat by somebody. He didn't get beat by anybody.
Jalen, I understand, man. Okay, so Jalen says, I watched Khabib fight, and as a wrestler, he had no equal. If he could fight John and they could match weight classes, I got Khabib. You do know that John is one of the best wrestlers out there, right?
Yeah.
That's right. And I got who is his name? Jalen?
Jalen, yeah.
So Jalen, I can't see or hear you because I'm not watching the YouTube show right now. I'm just on the video thing. But are you a real MMA fan, like hardcore MMA fan? I can't. I don't see
Jalen, if you can call if you want. He seems to know. I don't know how much he watches it, but he always mentions it.
Okay, I just want to know: does he really think that Khabib GSP? That's what I want to know.
No, he didn't say GSP. He said John.
I thought you just said he said Khabib is the best wrestler out there. Oh no, he doesn't have an equal.
He said, I watched Khabib fight, and as a wrestler, he had no equal. And if he could fight John Jones and they could match weight classes, I've got Khabib.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he thinks that Khabib is untouchable wrestling-wise, right?
Yeah.
Is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to know what he thinks, if he thinks Khabib would Khabib GSP.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you're going with that. Yeah, that makes sense.
I want to know.
Okay, well, give him a chance to answer.
Not a single person has ever done anything to the GSP on the ground. I mean, since he was young. He was like, when he was 23, he lost to Matt Hughes by submission. But I mean, there's no shame in that when Matt was the best in the world at the time and GSP was just coming up.
Yeah.
He got his revenge on that, by the way.
Why did Chael Sonnen say that he just woke up one day and was given the belt? Matt Hughes.
Who?
What was he referring to? Chael Sonnen made a smartest comment.
He got knocked out. He knocked himself out in the fight.
No, he didn't knock him. He didn't knock him. He didn't knock himself out. Carlos Newton knocked himself out.
Didn't he fall down on top of him? And was that the fight?
No, what happened? What happened is Carlos Newton had Matt Hughes in a leg triangle on top of his head, where Matt was standing up against the cage, and so Matt was standing up against the cage, and Carlos Newton was on top of him, like this right here, with his legs wrapped around his neck, and he was choking Matt. Matt went to sleep, And then when Matt fell, Carlos fell with him, and Carlos hit his head on the ground. Carlos got knocked out. Matt was asleep, so they both were out, but Matt woke up first, and he's the champion.
The ref probably didn't realize, because when that happened with
Right.
Raider,
But the thing is without Matt Hughes going to sleep unconscious from that triangle choke, Carlos Newton never would have fallen and gotten knocked out.
Right.
So that means that Matt Hughes had to have been asleep for Carlos to have fallen.
So that's why Chael says he woke up one day and they gave him the belt.
Okay,
that's exactly what happened. And I remember when that happened. I watched it as it happened, and I was so pissed off about that because he didn't. Dude, if you watch it, Matt gets up and they're celebrating. He looks at everybody, and goes, "What happened? Did I win?
Oh, man.
Did I win?" You can actually see the video of him asking his cornerman that. He's going, "What happened?"
That's funny.
He doesn't remember. Matt doesn't remember. He was asleep when it happened.
Yep.
That's so weird.
Yeah, well, go watch it. Matt Hughes and Carlos Newton. Watch that. Carlos put him to sleep with a vertical leg triangle, and Matt passed out, and Carlos fell with him, and Carlos got knocked out from hitting the ground, but Matt was asleep. That's why Carlos fell with him.
Oh, okay. Hey, Jalen, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, man?
To answer your question, I do watch some MMA. I don't have a lot of money, so I can't afford to buy all the pay-per-views. So
Yeah,
I don't
expensive.
I don't watch it like all the time. But when before the pandemic, I would go out to Hooters or whatever and go watch the MMA fights that way and stuff like that. So I watch it a pretty decent amount. You probably know more, so you're probably more of an expert. It's just I'm only speaking because I speak from I watched Khabib wrestle, and on the ground, no one touched him to me. I don't know,
Since when?
On the ground?
Yeah, since
when he fought people, I'm talking about the people he fought. Who touched him?
Gleason Tebow did. Gleason Tebow actually nearly beat Khabib and submitted him and beat him in wrestling. Gleason Tebow's not even a wrestler.
I need to go watch that fight. Okay, I admittedly haven't watched every single fight Khabib has fought, but the past few fights I've seen him in, when I've seen him wrestle, I've gone back and looked up his stuff on YouTube and tried to watch him and watched it and stuff. I've
It's true.
not seen.
People are just trying to. He gets people down and they get stuck.
Okay, here's
there.
the thing.
All they're trying to do is get up.
Let's look at his last 5 fights. Okay, you got Edson Barboza. He's never spent a day on the ground in his life. You look at Michael Johnson. He can't wrestle for crap. He weighs he's got stick arms and legs. He's a stand-up fighter. He's a boxer. Michael Johnson is. And then you take Dustin Poirier. We already know he's nothing. Justin Gaethje's a wrestler, but he doesn't use it. And then you got Conor McGregor, who's never been on the ground. Khabib's last 5 fights against these guys, and Al Iaquinta, they never even wrestled at all because Al Iaquinta's a good wrestler, and Khabib didn't want any of that. So you look at their last 6 fights. And he didn't face one single elite wrestler, not one. He hadn't been tested. That's why they wouldn't put up a real true wrestler up against him. When GSP wanted to fight Khabib kills himself making weight. He's failed weight 3 or 4 times. Twice he had to go to the hospital and they had to call off the fight with Togan Ferguson because he dehydrated himself. His kidneys shut down because he tried to make weight at 155. He didn't fight 170 like he should have, and where he would have fought GSP. He didn't want any of that. GSP would have out wrestled him. Yeah. That's why.
Wow.
Yeah.
If he's really the GOAT, then why did he go to 170 where he should have been the whole time? Everybody else has been doing it. Why can't he do it?
GSP was the other person I mentioned. I mentioned him because of that, because of the time he had off, and then coming back for that fight and dominating against the person he dominated who was I believe champion at the time.
Michael Bisping.
To me, yeah. I know Michael Bisping has one eye, but at the time he was the number 1 guy of that weight class, and he pretty much came back after a year off and dominated him. To me, that
so
was
here's the story behind that. He actually came back almost 4 years after the layoff.
4 years. Yeah.
The thing is,
that's even more impressive.
No, actually,
and I got everything for the Amanda Nunes thing after this.
Yeah, the thing with Bisping is that's actually not impressive at all because one thing, Bisping has no ground game. Second thing is GSP cherry picked that fight. He would never gonna go up the middleweight to fight anybody until Bisping became champion. And GSP goes, now I got my chance. Bisping's champion because their matchup is perfect for GSP. It's absolutely perfect.
but stopping something for stopping fighting for 4 years and coming back to the
No, no, no,
sport
no, no,
and
no,
then
no. GSP did not stop fighting for 4 years. He stopped competing in the UFC for 4 years.
yes,
GSP
that's
never
what I
stopped.
mean. That's
Yeah,
what
but
I
that doesn't
mean.
mean
I
anything.
get that he didn't stop training martial arts, but
Right.
he didn't actually have fights. He didn't have actual real fights, so he
That
wasn't
doesn't mean
in the.
anything.
Yes, it
Ring,
does.
ring. No,
Hold on.
ring
I
rust
disagree
is.
with. Can I finish? I disagree with you. There's a mindset to fighting, like, and when you're doing it all the time, and you're not just doing it practicing moves. There's a mindset and like a killer instinct that you like have that you don't have like when you're not active. So there is actually a difference, and there's a difference in the way you train because at the time he was doing movies. I saw him in the Captain America movie. There's a difference in the way you train to actually
He
fight
shows up on
in
set for
movies.
6 days, and you think that's 4 years because he's on set for
No,
six
no, no,
days?
no, no. But like, if the difference in the way you train for that is like you train to basically
Yeah.
miss the person every time. You're training to not hit the person. Like your
Dude, you have
training
never
is
been in an MMA gym, have you? Have you ever been in an MMA gym? One time. Have you
you're
ever
not
walked in an MMA
trying.
gym? Have you ever been in an MMA gym one time? Just tell me.
I've been in the gym. I don't think I've been in an
Okay.
MMA gym.
MMA training. George St. Pierre spars, man. They spar harder than they fight. These guys, if you don't believe me, go ask any pro out there. Go on Twitter, ask any of these guys in any promotion, and say, "Hey, do you have gym wars? You spar in the gym harder than you fight?" GSP does that. He does it. He does
I
it
don't
all
think
the
he was
time. He
doing
moves
that in
that
the
way.
4 years he had off.
What we, dude? He competes that way. He's a competitor. He's a lifelong competitor. He's not going to lose his spark over that. He's still young. He didn't
So
stop
he
sparring.
wasn't he
Stop
wasn't
fighting.
sitting on the couch or anything.
No, he was not.
I don't think
He
I
was
don't think
training
he was
harder.
sitting in on the
Oh,
couch,
okay.
but I don't think there's also a difference in the way you train if you're actually training for fights and if you're just training to train.
That's definitely true.
Yeah, and you know what that's also called? It's called rest and recovery for your body and your head.
Yeah, okay. And I don't really want to keep arguing this because you can have it if you don't think he's the GOAT. It's your opinion, but
I just think Khabib hasn't been
uh,
challenged with a good wrestler. That's all. I just don't think they put him up
you
against a
you
real
may
true wrestler.
you may be right on that. I'm just going by my visual test of what I've seen him do on the ground. You're probably
Right,
right on
but
that.
you're seeing him do that against guys who don't have a ground game.
I said I conceded. You're probably right about the fact that he hasn't done it against like real wrestlers. The thing I was going to say about the Amanda Nunes thing is, didn't Amanda Nunes basically clear out the entire division of women before we got to Pena? So if you
Pretty
don't
much.
have Amanda Nunes get the rematch, who is your rematch? Who is the next title contender in your mind? Give me
I don't know
someone else.
who's ranked number two
Like
that
give me
Juliana
a
hasn't fought yet.
huh?
Who's ranked
Like
number
because
two? Julia. I mean, just
There's
go to the next
nobody
I
at
don't
person
know. I
that
down.
thought
level.
Amanda
She's cleared
Nunes pretty
everybody
much
out,
cleared
right?
out cleared out the whole
Yeah.
division, and like Julia, like if she had won this, there was no one left after this. Pretty much is what I heard like them say on like different like ESPN and like different things about this fight before it happened. Is like there was like no one left. To me,
Oh, of
that is
course
why
not.
Amanda that deserves it. Is because like in every case. But here's the thing: if you pretty much clear out the entire division of contenders and you lose the championship, then you deserve the rematch.
Yeah,
That's where the
I
automatic clause
agree.
comes in. That's where you wanted an automatic rematch clause. That's where it should be.
So what you're saying when someone is a title challenger and they win the belt, they didn't really win it. They're just kind of holding on to it
No,
as
what I'm saying is when someone
for a
clears out
while.
the entire division, if uh if if like take whoever is like if that dude who won the championship after after this one, right? If he for the next 30 matches goes and clears out everyone in whatever division he just won that title in and gets down to the 10th competitor and the 10th and like the 10th like because he goes through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and gets to the 10th guy and the 10th guy beats him and like because he's then cleared out the entire rest of the division, that guy deserves an automatic rematch. Do you get it? Basically, when you've cleared out the entire division, you've earned the automatic rematch clause because you basically are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 because you basically beaten all those people.
So when a
I
title
agree.
challenger wins a belt, they never actually win the belt. That's what you're saying.
No, they win the belt.
That's not what I said.
No, they
You
don't.
don't
No, they
listen
don't.
to
They're just
them.
holding on to it temporarily until the person
No,
gets another
how
crack.
many people are going to do what Amanda Nunes just did and beat every single person in the division before they lose?
That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
That's exactly no, it's not. It's exactly
It's completely
the
irrelevant.
Case for, it's the case for I gave for the only way you get the title as an automatic rematch clause. So it's completely relevant.
Okay,
Case.
what if you came in and you beat someone like Amanda Nunes? You're a girl, and you came in to beat Amanda Nunes the way you did. You beat her on the stand-up. You beat her on the ground. You made it decisive. There's no questions. There's no dispute. There's no problems of any kind. There's no bad judging or anything like that. There's no fouls, nothing like that. And then they say to you, how does it feel to be champion for a little while?
Okay,
You don't really feel like the champion at that point.
Do you think there's not gonna? Do you think that person's not gonna have another a person to fight anyway? Like that person's still gonna go have to fight. It doesn't matter
who's next or who's lost to who. The point is that when you win the belt from somebody, are you saying that really Joe Rogan should go in there and say, how does it feel to have the belt until you guys fight again? So do you like being a temporary belt holder?
No,
because unless that's how it is, because you got to beat that person 2 out of 3 or you're not the real champion. Is what they're.
First of all, I don't get where you get this 2 out of 3. Just because you have a rematch doesn't mean you have to have 2 out of 3.
Yes, it is, because then the person who just beat them.
Why? Because the person that won the first one could win, and then you don't need a third one.
Why not?
Because if you win 2, they're basically out of there. Okay, if you win 2, like you don't. Like
but they didn't win 2. If the former champion comes back and wins, they're 1-1.
Right. Yeah, but even in that case,
I'm saying if the former champion comes back and loses. Okay?
Yeah, then it's just 2, and then if the champion wins, that other person only had one.
Culture, man. That's do-over culture. You guys really
no, it's not do-over culture. This is talking about for the elite, the elite of the elite.
If they're that elite, then they wouldn't have lost.
If they won for 8 years, they are that elite, right?
They were until now. Everybody's elite until they lose their game and people catch up to them. Like Ronda Rousey, she was elite until she got her ass beat twice in a row. From that point on, she would have lost anybody.
Ronda Rousey is Dana White just awarded her the damn title without actually making any kind of like tournament or any kind of thing to actually.
That's true.
To give her the title, so she never really proved she was number 1. Amanda Nunes has literally run through 1 through 10 of every single competitor there is in like 2 different weight classes of belts. Okay, she's proven it by this.
You could do what you want when you do that. When you get some leniency to do what you want when you do what Amanda Nunes. I'm not even a fan of Amanda Nunes, but I'm just saying when you do that, you deserve some extra stuff.
If this worked in football, Tom Brady would just get an automatic bid to the Super Bowl. But it doesn't work that way. But kind of sucks because he should. I was off topic. Don't mind me.
I didn't understand what you just said about Brady. What was that?
Because if the rematch thing, because he's always the champion. So if it was like a rematch clause, basically he would just get another Super Bowl contender. Like he would be in the Super Bowl again because he's always in the Super Bowl the year before. So Jalen just always.
Jalen, Tom Brady is his own rematch clause. Right? So
yeah.
Russell Curry just said Dana White does give out titles like candy.
I agree.
And Bill Murray says, I agree with Jalen for once. Look at that, Jalen. Look at
that. It took me some years and to be in a different sport topic, but I finally got a chat member to agree with me on something. That does not happen ever.
This is a moment in history. A moment to be in history.
Yeah,
someone
Jason,
agreed with Jalen.
Everyone disagrees with me. You're right on par with everybody else.
Jalen holds the record for being yelled at by more people on this channel than anyone else.
Man.
Who's that fifth window for?
Well, Russell Curry said he was going to call in, but I don't see him. So I was kind of making it for him. Well, I'll leave it there in case he does call in. But
And by the way, there's no way I can talk y'all into doing the Jake Paul fight. Like you don't care about that at all, do y'all?
who's he
No.
fighting?
Tyron Woodley again.
Tyrone Woodley, but there's also
Another Boar Fest.
Amanda Serrano is fighting somebody. Miranda, I think that's a title match or something like that. Like she's moving up in weight. I don't know if you ever heard of her.
I've seen Serrano fight several times. She's supposed to be pretty good. Her last fight, she did really good.
Yeah.
She's from, I think she's from LA. She's one of those LA like boxing gym fighters.
I think she's from Puerto Rico. She
is?
Because Jake moved down there with Logan.
Did she train there? Did she train in LA though?
She trains in Puerto Rico, I believe. She's from Puerto Rico because Jake changed out in Puerto Rico too and lives out there now.
That's another weird thing. I noticed that Pena, they keep saying that she's Venezuelan. She's not. She's
because
born
one of her
Spokane,
parents is
Washington.
from Venezuela.
So it's a Cain Velasquez situation.
Yes, exactly. That's what they all do.
Isn't she Brazilian? Like, isn't she from Brazil?
No, she's American. Her one of her parents is Venezuelan and she's American, born and raised here. She's probably never even been there to even visit. They always want to take the side of the
I think I've seen her like training over there. Actually, I think I've seen her like I saw like a maybe it wasn't. No, I think it was either her or it was Julia. I saw like a video one time like way back before like one of the girls' fights, and it was like documenting them like training and stuff like that. I think they're doing a documentary. She's probably trying to go down there for PR. She probably showed up for 2 days to make a video. It was a while back. It was like a while back. It was like one of those sports, like not like a real documentary, but like one of those 24/7 like type things when they follow like the fighters around and like watch them train and like document like things like that.
Yeah.
Like something like that.
Either way, she's not Venezuelan.
Yeah.
So she might have a parent who is, but she's not.
When the rankings come out on January 1st, what rank in the bantamweight division? What rank is Amanda Nunes?
She's gonna be 1.
She's gonna be 1. Okay.
Yeah.
So
what would be the best next fight?
Get a rematch, get a fight.
Number two.
So you should leapfrog the number
Who's
one
number
contender in your mind and get to.
Are you absolutely serious, dude? You must never watch MMA.
Who's number 2?
Every single no. Hold on, everybody be quiet. Almost every single title fight there is in the UFC, man or woman, is always the champion who gets 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, or even 8. It's very rarely ever the champion versus number 1. That's very rare that happens. That doesn't happen very much. In fact, tonight it didn't happen. Juliana Pena was ranked number 3. Why was she even there?
3.
Why was she there? She's ranked number 3. She shouldn't be there. See, you can't go by that either. That rarely ever even happens. The number 1 ranked fighter that rarely happens. Where the number 1 ranked fighter gets a championship fight. It's always someone ranked 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, or even lower sometimes. I mean, when Khabib won the belt, you know who he won it from? Number 10 ranked Al Iaquinta, who came off the couch, and that was a decision.
And it was a fake belt.
It was a fake belt. No one even had it.
Yeah, it was
Khabib
a vacated
belt.
There was no belt, right?
Yeah, it was a vacated belt. Khabib didn't even beat the champion to get the belt. He vacated it. He just won it from a number 10 ranked guy who had a 2-week warning.
Yeah, that's not a good look. But no, what I was saying is who is the other girl? Do you happen any of you guys know who's the third girl, the third ranked girl or second ranked girl?
Rankings in front of
Does
me.
anyone know?
Yeah, it's Rose.
No, the wrong rank class. We're talking 135s.
Okay.
Bantam.
Yeah. That's what I'm wondering. But why is Rose? Rose
looking
is
at
the
pound
champion
for pound.
of it's pound for pound. That's what I'm looking at. That's okay. Got ya. So we're looking at Holly Holmes is number 1. That's the weight up, right? So we got. The heck is it?
What rank is Holly Holm at 135?
Holly Holmes is number 1 at bantamweight. Okay, so Holly Holmes number 1 at bantamweight. That's what we're looking for.
Okay, so what's going to happen is Monday, Holly's going to be number 2 and Amanda's going to be number 1.
What's confused me is there was no fighters in the women's featherweight. There's no rankings. There's nobody but Amanda Nunes. That's crazy.
Featherweight,
sorry. Yeah, women's featherweight. There was Amanda Nunes champion and no other people ranked. That's it.
Yeah, Felicia just retired. They don't have anybody. Megan Anderson.
That's crazy.
That's it, but she sucks.
So what's the best fight for the UFC? Nunes rematch or Holly Holm and
Well, they're definitely
Pena?
going to do the rematch because that's the money fight. So they're going to do it.
Well, there we go. People want to see it. So that says
Well,
a
they
lot
also
right
wanted
there.
to see CM Punk fight too, but
No, they didn't. I didn't want to see that.
Me either.
But
I didn't want to
90%
see
of
that.
people did.
Most
90% of people did. That's the reason why That's the reason why both of his fights
Most-
sold out like they did.
Non-UFC fans wanted to see that.
Dude, they did. Look at his pay-per-views. Look at the numbers he did.
Yeah, I
They
know.
wanted to see it.
But
Jalen,
Dana
you
White
hated
even
yourself.
regrets that. Dana White
Okay,
regrets
but
doing
the
that.
point
Actually,
I'm trying to make is if we're going to go by, if you guys want to talk about money fights, then heck, let's just do celebrity freak shows.
no, the freak show thing that's unacceptable. That's not acceptable.
So we're drawing lines now. Where's our line at?
Our line is it's got to be a legit fight.
What's legit?
A ranked top person, not
Someone who
not,
just
some, not a
dominated.
freak
So
show.
how about,
not-
okay, how about this? How about this? Sean O'Malley's pretty popular. In fact, he's the most popular guy in the entire bantamweight division. He's even more popular than the champion. Let's put him against Peter Yan right now.
He's got to work
Let's
his
do
way
that.
up a little bit.
No, he don't have to because we want to make some good money here.
They
Dude,
both
you
go
keep
hand in
going
hand.
one extreme to
Everything's
the
so
other.
extreme. It's like nothing else. Things don't have to be so extreme.
Because you gotta have some sort of like knowing where you're going and where you're at. You can't
Okay.
just sit there and
Well,
just
then if we're going by
randomly throw things
that,
out.
if we're going so extreme, then champion fights number one, which is Amanda Nunes. So there you go. So then that's so you're calling the same thing, Jason.
No, I'm not because Amanda just lost to her.
Right, but she's number
And I-
one. You just said it.
I never.
So
No. I
that's
never.
the
I never
fight to
said.
make.
No, listen
Like,
to me. I never said that number one should fight champion all the time. I never even
No,
said
but you need
that.
rules. Number one should be a champion. If we've got to go extreme rules, that should be the rule. It's common
We
sense,
also have
right?
to have. Okay, what about if Amanda wasn't number one? She comes out being number two for some reason on Monday. And Holly's number one. Then what?
All right, then Holly should be the fight. If we're going to buy these extreme rules.
No,
But
because Amanda gets her deserved rematch. Remember?
no, we're going to drop all that, and then so it's got.
Oh,
But
we
it's
are?
got to be one or the other. We got to go with. If we want everything to be so extreme, then it's got to be number one fights a champion. If we're going to be extreme on everything, it doesn't have to be so extreme. Is my point.
In that case, number one and champion will never ever go away. They'll be back and forth every single day.
No, they would go down slowly. It depends. It depends.
they
If
can't.
they lost
It's
the second
impossible.
time, you probably would drop more.
Jalen muted himself.
So,
I didn't do
It's
it.
impossible.
but I'm just saying, it doesn't need to be so extreme. Everything. It doesn't need to be so.
Well, when you're talking about money fights, that opens up a whole door of like random stuff, though.
Right.
Money
You have
fight
a little
thing
of
is dumb.
both. Sometimes there's money fights that make sense because it just makes
hear me now?
sense. And then at the same time, you got to keep the belt being relevant. You got to get a little bit of both things. That's the way you got to do it.
It's a combination of
Combination
things. What
of
I,
things.
what I was saying earlier that started this whole conversation was that you. But there's a judgment call to it as well. There's a judgment element. It can't be. There's no way to just put in a hard rule there. But CM Punk doesn't work or O'Malley doesn't work because they haven't been champion for a long time. That kind of thing. So they've only got one half of the equation, which is the draw, but they don't have the other half, as where, in Amanda's case, she clearly does. So
Juliana's performance tonight doesn't mean anything other than just a temporary belt hold for a few months.
Why temporary?
Why?
Why temporary?
Why do you
Well,
think that
because she's got to beat
Amanda's
Amanda
gonna
2 out
win
of
the
3, or it's
rematch?
temporary.
Why two
do you
out of
think-
three?
First of no, if what's her name wins the rematch, then I think that's over.
What's
Then
her
she
name?
goes on to Holly Holmes, or
Yeah,
like,
if Pena
or
wins
she goes on-
again, it's 2 for 2. It's
And
over.
if
Done.
Amanda
Finished.
wins,
Yeah.
she doesn't. Pena doesn't necessarily get a rematch. There's still just two fights.
Yeah, Pena is not in the same boat Amanda is in to get a rematch.
Yeah,
okay?
so this
Pena
is two
basically
fights,
has
not
to win
three.
the next
You're
one,
saying
she's
three.
out.
So once again,
Yes,
Amanda's
she
just
has to win the next one or she's out.
Amanda's
She has
just
to work her way
temporarily
back up.
babysitting the belt. Then she's just temporarily babysitting the belt. Juliana
right?
is. So her win tonight
Okay,
means
well,
nothing.
okay. I'll tell you what. If she goes through Amanda and then goes through like 30 other fighters of her own, and then gets to like a point where she is now in the point where Amanda was and loses the belt, she also deserves a rematch. You not understand this?
No, she doesn't. Juliana doesn't deserve it either.
Right. So it's only two fights.
It doesn't matter if it's 1 or 1,000.
I'm just saying it's not
Someone-
2 out of 3. Keep saying it's 2 out
Juliana
of
just
3
beat
thing.
her
Nobody's
ass. She
saying
doesn't get
3
an
fights.
automatic redo. She doesn't get a do-over automatic. Like,
And
oh, she beat me.
and
Let
Holly
me
Holmes
have
got
another
her ass
crack at
beat
her.
by Amanda.
Let me have another crack at her.
Didn't Holly Holmes get her ass beat by Amanda?
She sure did.
So
But-
why does Holly Holmes deserve this match?
Because it's not like a fresh loss like a day ago. That's like 2, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever that was. That's completely different. Again, fighters change.
I had another solution.
Connor destroyed Dustin Poirier in like 45 seconds, and then after that, several years later, their games changed. They matured. Dustin beat Connor twice. So things are different.
Make Amanda and Holly fight, and then the winner fights Pena.
There you go. At least Amanda had to work her way back. I agree with that. I just don't think people should get an immediate rematch when you get their ass decisively beat.
I don't normally think people should get immediate rematches. I think Amanda Nunes is an exception.
He's the exception.
I don't care about her portfolio. The thing is
I do.
Juliana.
The difference is I do.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Joe
I
Rogan
agree.
should go in that
She
cage
did
tonight.
something special, very special.
Joe Rogan should go in that cage tonight and say, "Hey, Juliana, how does it feel to be champion for a few months to babysit the belt until Amanda gets another crack at you to do a do-over fight?"
And she would say, "That's what's going to happen." Good.
That's
great. I'm
Pena
champion.
would say, "I'm going to beat her ass again."
Yeah, she said that already before the fight. She said
can say that, and she can agree to it. That's fine, but not everybody feels that way, and that doesn't mean it's right. Just because she says she's in the moment, she's all excited about winning the belt. But my point is that that's literally what it is that she's babysitting the belt temporarily for a few months until Amanda gets another crack. That's what that is.
How is she babysitting it?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Because anything can happen. Anything can happen in any fight.
Yeah,
you could say that about
Amanda
anybody.
Getting knocked out in the second rematch. And if
You
that
guys are a bunch of do-overs, man. Y'all's do-over people.
No, this is the rare exception when somebody does something
There's no
so
exception.
extraordinary
You guys
like
are
Amanda
do-overs,
did.
man.
Look, there are exceptions in every rule. There should have been a do-over in the Saints game 2 years ago, and there should be a do-over fight for this one.
I don't believe in do-over culture, so I guess the argument ends with
Didn't
that.
Anderson Silva get a rematch after he fooled around
And he
and got knocked out?
He shouldn't have gotten it. He should have worked his way back up to Chris again with
Work
another
his
fight
way.
or two.
He cleared out the division 2 times.
It doesn't matter.
Where do you
It
work
doesn't
his
matter.
way? It's nothing to work.
He lost to Chris, and Chris should get another fight to.
Right, there's no working. He already did work. He did the work already. It's the exception. It's the exception.
Oh,
so
so
such a
we get
hard
to put
rule.
money in the bank for later? We get to put money in the bank for later?
Yes.
Is that how that works?
Yes. Yeah,
Money in the
absolutely.
bank
In
for
that
later?
condition, yeah. When you
Yes.
do something so
Yes.
extraordinary, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
All right, we'll be doing this all night then, because I'm not
I
going to
know.
agree with that.
It's fine that we disagree. It's good, you know. Not a big deal. So
This is fun.
anyway, let's move on.
Sorry, Russell. I don't know what's going on. I'm receiving nothing on my end. Yeah. So, Jalen, so you think that if Khabib and John Jones could fight, that you think Khabib would beat John Jones?
Straight up wrestling, if they were like in the same weight class, I think.
Which weight class?
Khabib's. Like,
Well, how would John?
That's
how would
pound
John
for
get
pound.
down
That's
there?
pound for pound.
It wouldn't be able
theory.
to happen. Like it
That's
wouldn't be
theory.
able to happen. Like they would not be able to match weight classes. John Jones is going up to heavyweight. There's no way Khabib could
That's
go
what I'm
up that
saying.
high. There's no way John Jones could go down that high. It was a hypothetical
A
situation.
hypothetical. Oh, gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right, like pound for pound. That's what pound for pound is. Hypothetical.
Yes,
if
that's
this
what-
guy weighed
that's
this
what-
way.
That's basically what I was saying. Pound for pound is another way I was saying what I was saying.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, got what you're saying.
So you're saying just on a skill level basis,
Yeah.
you think
Yeah.
Khabib would win, right? Like if they were a video game, for example,
Yeah.
where you could equal the attributes, even though
Yeah.
they don't make sense.
How many
Yeah.
Jones fights
I
have
mean,
you seen, Jalen?
I think Johns is a more well-rounded fighter. I just think Khabib, like I said, I get your point about not facing elite wrestlers and stuff. Like I just think he's I think he's that good on the ground.
So, how many John Jones fights have you seen? Have you seen him fight Daniel Cormier?
I did watch that. I didn't watch that live.
Okay,
but
do you
watched
know
it, on
Daniel's
YouTube,
wrestling?
Utah. Yeah, I do know Daniel's wrestling. He's like one of the best at it, I believe.
Yeah, he actually is. His wrestling is actually better than Khabib's. That's how he survived to being a guy who's such out of shape to be able to win in all those fights. That's how he's won all of his fights is through that, and he was also an Olympic alternate, right? So
Yeah.
Daniel Cormier is considered a better. In fact, Daniel Cormier actually trained Khabib at AKA. You know that, right? He was
I
his
didn't know
coach.
that.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't
Daniel
know that.
Cormier is.
You know,
That's
you
why
talk-
they're
you talk-
friends.
So
You
Daniel
probably know
Cormier
more
is
about history here than I do.
okay, but yeah, I'm getting to a point here though. Daniel Cormier is actually coached Khabib, and Daniel Cormier is a better wrestler than Khabib technically. Okay, so John Jones out wrestled Khabib and beat him because of his wrestling. John Jones did that. No, not Khabib. I'm sorry, Daniel. And they were in the same weight class, and he out wrestled Daniel. And Daniel's high level. John's wrestling is not nothing to joke about, man. John Jones's wrestling is real.
By the way, I do think John is an excellent wrestler. I won't argue with you that John is not an excellent wrestler.
He beat DC at his own game.
Like I won't try to argue with you that John Jones is not an excellent wrestler. Like he just is. Like I've seen the guy actually fight in fights, and I know he's an excellent wrestler. Like, I won't argue that point.
The thing is, though, I don't think Khabib could out wrestle DC. That's the thing.
Where do you think Israel Adesanya ranks
as far as what?
As far as like best like fighters like all time? Do you think he merges up to any of them? Do you think he belongs?
I think he's top 10 right now.
Top
well,
10?
there's two things about Israel is that he's not the most well-rounded fighter, but he's definitely the most impressive with beating a good resume of people. In fact, for middleweight, he probably has the best middleweight resume out there. In fact, I would say his resume is better than Anderson Silva's. Even though I think Anderson Silva was a better fighter and I like Anderson better, I think Israel's competition has been harder than what Anderson Silva's was.
So you would rank him like 10 too? Somewhere in 10?
I don't know about that, but Israel Adesanya has beaten Robert Whittaker, he's beaten Yoel Romero, he's beaten Paulo Costa, he's beaten
I saw his fight with Paulo Costa.
Yeah, he's beating everybody, man. Israel's beating everyone they put in front of him at the top of the top. And
what's the discussion about here?
The discussion is Jalen asked where we think Adesanya ranks all time, and I said top 10.
Oh, he's top 10, and he's going to be, if he keeps going, he's going to be one of the top GOATs within a couple of years.
He can challenge the GOAT conversation.
Yeah, if he's got to keep doing what he's doing, he'll be the GOAT or up there at least.
Oh, he's got a long way to go still, but he's got the talent and he's got
awesome.
I'll say one thing about Israel. He has more guts than Khabib does by going up a division where he should be.
Oh yeah, and he's still fighting.
You know what? Yes, you know what? Israel Adesanya is further away from the division he moved up to than what Khabib would have been if he would have went to 170. Khabib is a natural 170, but he kills himself to make 155 so he can have an advantage. Israel doesn't even belong at 205, and he went up there anyway.
Yeah.
At least he's got more guts than Khabib does.
Yeah, definitely.
And he lost. Israel lost there.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't really affect his status.
No, it didn't affect his middleweight status, but he took a chance at least. You know,
I respect it. And he did good until he got held down for the last 3 rounds. You know,
isn't Usman the champion at 170?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, okay.
He's a good wrestler too.
I don't know if this is true, but both of them have been on the record as saying they are like truly friends, and the both of them don't want to fight each other. So
Usman and who?
No, that could be the reason he hasn't gone up to 7.
Yeah, so the thing about them is they're only friends because of the UFC. They didn't know each other before the UFC. The thing is Ecamm Usman, his parents are from Nigeria. Israel Adesanya's parents are from Nigeria, and Ngannou is from Cameroon. They're all 3 Africans, so they got this like African brotherhood thing going on. But before the UFC, they didn't even know each other. So they're only connected by their country. That's all that is.
Yeah.
They don't even.
They probably would fight if it was the right fight, you know.
Yeah, but the reason why they say that is because they're Africans, and so that's their little connection.
And Usman has also said that he also didn't want to challenge Khabib. He said
because they have the same manager and they're friends because they have the same manager.
Russell Curry just said he thinks Stipe can beat John Jones.
That's a possibility. I would definitely wouldn't bet against it.
I don't think Stipe could beat John Jones. I think John Jones is too skilled for Stipe.
I think Jones will win, but again, at heavyweight, one punch it's different. You never know. He's so strong.
I was like, I think John
also
Jones is more skilled than Francis and Ngannou, but I just thought Francis Ngannou had possibility of KOing him with his power at some point. Sure. But like, if it comes down to going all 5 rounds, I pick John Jones.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's going to happen is when John fights Ngannou, he's going to use the Stipe Miocic game plan. When Stipe Miocic fought in Francis Ngannou, he beat Francis because of that game plan. But people forget that Stipe Miocic is a wrestler first. He's a puncher second. Stipe doesn't use his wrestling because it's not fun. He doesn't enjoy doing it. Like Justin Gaethje, he can wrestle, but it's not fun for him. Stipe Miocic had to use his wrestling to beat Ngannou that first time, and I think that's what John would do to Francis.
He will, but I think he'll do more on the ground than what Stipe did. Stipe was kind of.
He'll do more offensive stuff on the ground probably.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
sorry.
Go ahead.
You can go ahead.
Oh, there's a little problem with that, though. There's just one little problem with that, with John doing the Stipe Miocic game plan to beat Francis. Francis got good at wrestling lately. So there's a little problem
Francis
there.
learned how to putt.
I don't think. Okay,
Yeah.
First of all, I don't think whatever Francis learned, I don't think he caught up to where John is.
No,
Like,
he's not going to
John-
catch up, but it's enough to survive. He can make himself survive a little more.
But
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, if it comes to stand up, to me, John Jones is the faster, quicker fighter. So I could see I could see John getting a lot more shots in the stand up before Francis could land his power
what?
shots.
In the first 2 or 3 minutes of the fight, I think Francis is going to be faster than John.
Yep.
I think he's going to come out guns ablaze. Have you ever seen Francis
Oh,
shadowbox before?
Yep.
Have you seen Francis shadowbox?
I
Dude, he
haven't
is
seen him
fast.
shadowbox. I've seen him train. I've seen him
train.
hit the bag. I haven't seen him
Oh
shadowbox.
no! Watch him shadowbox where he's not hitting a bag or hitting mitts. He's just like in the air. You'll see how fast his muscles move. They're very fast.
Yep.
The first 2 minutes, he could possibly outspeed John, possibly if he wants to. Now,
Well,
the
we
thing about the
also have
wrestling
to
thing-
see. We also have to see if Jones does what he's always done and fought his opponent in the style that he's not supposed to fight him. Like if a guy's a great stand-up guy, he'll just box him if he's a boxer.
So if John ever fights Francis, he will not do that, and I'll tell you why.
Probably not.
John,
Probably not.
John has said several times, even recently, he
I've
said,
heard
"You know
him.
what?" He says, "I'm totally aware that one punch can put your
I've
lights
heard him
out,
say
even
that.
if it's not. Yeah, even if it's not a hard punch. All you got to do is just if you do this to yourself, just take your fingers and let your neck loose and hit your chin like that and snap your neck. You almost knock yourself out. You can almost black out doing that. Just little things like that, little small ones.
Technique.
You
It's
can almost knock
technique.
yourself
Yeah.
Yeah. So John knows that. He says, dude, I'm just one accidental connection away from being knocked out. He goes, I know that. That's the reason why I don't want to get hit. That's
Yeah.
the reason why John rarely takes punishment. But the thing is that he knows that with Francis, and I don't think he would try. I think
Probably
this is
not.
the one time where he wouldn't try to match him. He
Your
wouldn't do that.
your head strength
You know what, I didn't
and
think
your
you
body
think
strength
you're
doesn't go up
trying to-
equally. Like your head can't take as much as your body goes up in your punching power. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
How proficient is John at kickboxing or leg kicks and things?
Extremely.
great.
Kickboxing is forte. That's what's one of my most champions.
So do you
Kickboxing.
think he would try to kick the calf and basically, you know how
Kick his knee.
Justin broke down Conor McGregor
Yeah.
with the calf kicks and
he does everything.
broke down-
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll do some of that. He'll do
He-
combinations of everything.
if-
That's what makes him so great. You know, he does the
Because
kicks,
if
the legs.
if he breaks down his legs before Francis can get some hard shots in that first round in that first minute, then Francis won't have the base to be able to get those hard shots
Yeah.
and
That's
John's
true,
can
and
pick them apart.
It's possible.
That's true. That is a strategy with the leg kicks. It takes away your punching power. But the thing is, though, I don't think he's going to come out doing that.
Francis
right
is
away.
going
He
to
might-
charge in, man. Francis is going to charge right in there.
I think what happens is John. He'll throw some leg kicks, but they're not going to be for damage. They're going to be for distraction. I
Yeah.
think
You
he'll do
think he'll
that.
charge in to take him to the ground, or do you think he'll charge
Yeah.
in to
Clinch and take him to the ground and do
Dude,
elbows
I
and
think,
stuff.
I think it would be best for John Jones to literally let that happen. I think John Jones has an advantage on the ground, even if he's on the bottom position.
No, I'm saying Jones will try to take him down and clinch. Francis is
I
going to
thought
go
you were
for
saying I thought you
Yeah.
were saying Francis was
No,
going to
no,
run after
the
and
other
try
way.
to take him down.
right. You know, Francis, he charges in. If he gets one punch, it's over a lot of times. So Jones knows that. And he's smart enough to understand that. So he's probably going to try to clinch or kick him from far away, but he's not going to just stand in boxing range. I doubt he does that.
I just want to welcome our brother Steven's here. What's up, Steven?
What's up, Steven?
He says Nunes goes down.
Yep. That was awesome.
And Russell Curie just said Francis may hit harder than Deontay Wilder.
He absolutely does.
Yeah.
Deontay Wilder sucks at boxing.
Hey, don't forget, Francis Ngannou also has about 35 pounds of weight on Deontay Wilder too.
Does he?
Well, I mean, he used to Francis used to come in at 260.
Actually,
Now he's coming in at like 255.
I
But
think
yeah,
Deontay. I think Francis could fight Deontay Wilder in a straight up boxing match and probably beat Deontay Wilder. He can take his shots, and Deontay Wilder can't really box.
he
Like
just throws big
like
right loop.
like he has the one thing you can't teach, which is a very good right hand that like will knock you out. Like you can't teach that.
Right.
But he never developed any boxing skills. Like
Yeah.
Jake Paul has literally developed more boxing skills than I think he has.
Dante needs to take lessons from Charlie
Damn.
Zanoff.
I'm not joking about that.
Well, what we saw
Some
in
shade right there.
At least for the amount of time that Jake's been training, like which has been like 2 or 3 years, I think he developed more skills than Wilder did in his 2 or 3 years. Like, because he's been training since he was 19.
Yep. In the Mayweather Conor McGregor fight, we saw the difference of boxers versus MMA. Boxers have that thing where they have really great cardio, and they don't have the luxury to clinch and stop the action by doing that, which Conor is used to that. So
and they also don't.
But there are two things
enough.
I have two problems with that assessment.
But my point is Francis doesn't do that anyway. He just charges in, so he probably could match up with a Deontay like that style. So it probably would work. He probably could beat a boxer because that's all Francis does. He doesn't do any clinching or anything for the most part. So
I don't think he can beat every boxer. I just think he could beat Deontay.
Yeah, I had two problems with that comment about McGregor and Mayweather. It's not that the boxers have better cardio. They have better cardio because all they got to do is one thing. If MMA fighter could do what they do and use all their weapons, then the boxer's cardio would be gone in the first 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah,
I said it wrong. They know how to neutralize. They know how to regain their strength in a different way that Conor wasn't used to having to stand there. He was used to doing a clinch or something else where it's different in boxing. So I agree.
Yeah, you take a basketball player and take a tennis player. They both got good cardio, but
it's
they're
different.
made for each other. If you try to make them do each other's sport, their cardio is not going to be good.
That makes sense.
Either one of them.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's different. And I didn't really understand that until I saw Conor fight Mayweather. Like Conor was just tired. He wants to clinch and hold, but you can't do that. So
Connor's got the cardio of a French bulldog anyway.
When he has to go 5 rounds. Like Conor only wins fights when he knocks them out in like the first round or like the first or second round.
Everybody knows Conor has no cardio anyway. Connor's terrible.
Like he always has that problem.
Yep.
Yeah, he gets winded. He gets winded in his walkout.
Yes.
Connor's definitely not the guy you want to use for a cardio. The guy you want to use for cardio is like somebody like Tony Ferguson or Kobe Covington.
And plus the difference also is like Floyd Mayweather is a master boxer and Conor is an amateur.
That's right. That's right.
Like there is a big difference.
You can just see the difference.
The only reason like Logan could do it was because it was like 5 or 10 years later. Logan's like 70 pounds heavier, and that was pretty much it. The 5 and 10 years was like enough to bring Floyd down enough, and Logan being like 70 pounds heavier, like he never would have hurt him in his prime. He just would have made him embarrassed and he never would have been able to touch him.
Are one of those guys actually fighting Tyson? Is that real? Or is that just talk?
I really hope that doesn't happen.
That would be ridiculous,
They're talking about Logan Paul fighting Mike Tyson.
Oh, come on.
The thing is, Jake Paul is actually a better boxer than Logan.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Don't mind us, Galen.
Yeah.
So are we good? How are we?
Hey guys, I'll be back in like 1 minute.
Take your time.
So hang on. Let me get this straight. They're wanting Mike Tyson to fight one of the Logan or one of the Paul brothers.
They're trying to make that fight. Yeah, the Logans are.
It won't happen. They won't sanction that.
Yeah.
Do they want to die?
Yeah, I think Tyson would destroy him.
Do they want to die?
Tyson will he still hits hard, and he might not have the cardio as a younger, but he's going to still come out there with some strikes that they've never seen before.
Listen,
Tyson's going to do what he does. He's going to take a step up underneath and come in with a big uppercut. That's what he always does.
Ducks under stuff. He's still got that movement. Probably not the same. He probably can't last as long like he used to, but he's going to hit hard. There's no doubt, Because that Tyson fight that we saw against that Roy Jones Jr. Who was that?
Yeah, Roy Jones Jr.
It was more. They were just more punching in the stomach. I think they agreed not to knock each other out when that.
Yes,
No, they
but-
had a thing in their thing that if they made each other bleed, the match would stop. That's why they didn't hit each other in the head.
Yeah, so they were more hitting
because
the chest and stomach. Yeah.
It was an exhibition match.
Yes.
That had some rule. And by the way, about the Tyson thing, I really don't want that to happen.
No.
I actually like Logan Paul, and Tyson is my hero. So
You don't
if
want to see
they
him die.
Yeah.
I would want Tyson to beat the shit out of him.
No, I
just
agree.
because I don't want my image of Tyson ruined, and I don't want to see Logan Paul get the shit beat out of him because I actually like the dude. So I really don't want that fight to happen.
No, it's like one of those, what I was talking about earlier. It's one of those freak show things. It's just not a good match. It's not fair. It's not right. I don't like stuff like that.
The only reason
what
the
would be a good fight
worked is because the weight difference was enough on Logan's side and the skill difference was on Floyd's side. On this fight, the skill and the weight difference would be on Tyson's side.
But what's going to happen is Mike Tyson knows that he can't lose that fight. So he is going to go in there like a freaking killer, dude, and he is going to try to destroy him.
I think
and it's
he
gonna
will.
be bad.
Well,
It's going to be.
I would actually want to see that happen. I don't want my image of Mike Tyson ruined. I actually still
Exactly.
think of him as the baddest man on the planet. Like
Yeah.
I think if he punched me in the head, my head would like really go
Yeah.
around the world and like come back to my body or something before my body drops.
Yeah, I
Like
think
that's
Tyson,
how like what I think of Mike Tyson.
he's awesome.
Like I
He's
once
the
heard a
best.
story on Mike Tyson's podcast where Mike Tyson said back when he was actually a fighter and he was doing one of his like 10-mile walks, some dude tried to come up to him and get a picture. Long story short, he knocked the dude out. And I was wondering if the dude is still living because the story was not Mike Tyson with gloves on. It was Mike Tyson with his bare fist actually punching a regular person in the face.
Yeah.
Like, I'm wondering if that guy is still alive right now.
Jalen, legend has it, he's still in the parking lot.
Yeah.
They can't
So here's something
get him
I-
off the pavement.
Here's something unprecedented right now. We have two guys who fought in MMA as former champions, and now they're both magically doing boxing right now, and they're both magically really good. Vitor Belfort and Anderson Silva. Rematch in boxing?
Yeah, why not?
So they fought in MMA
Oh
back
yeah,
in
Anderson Silva beat Cesar Chavez. Like, and I know he's like falling off, but
Yeah.
the fact that he could beat somebody that's actually been
a
like
proper
boxing,
boxer.
Yeah.
and boxing
Yeah.
is literally what they've been doing since they've been like 6. Is like that's impressive.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
good.
so Anderson Silva's a good boxer, but the
Although-
thing is that Anderson
I think
Silva in 2010 fought Vitor Belfort in UFC, and they're both former champions. And Anderson knocked him out with that front kick.
Front kick,
but-
yeah.
Yeah, but Belfort and Anderson are both boxing now, and they're both winning. Should
Yep.
they fight each other in a rematch in a boxing ring?
That would be awesome.
You know,
I'd like that.
if they do, it'll probably be on the next Jake Paul undercard.
I
Yeah.
think Vitor would win that fight.
Really?
Absolutely.
Could go either way.
Because he doesn't have to worry about anything. He doesn't have to worry. He doesn't have to worry about
I
anything.
lean towards Anderson Silva just because of what he did in his last fight, but I haven't seen Vitor box, so I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, watch Vitor Belfort just beat Evander Holyfield.
Evander Holyfield is like that. That's I think.
Isn't
what,
Evander
what's
like
his name-
75?
Yeah, Van,
Yeah, like
Vander
that's
is-
what, like it, what,
No,
what's his
he's in
name?
his
It's
50s.
actually like if Logan Paul was gonna fight Evander Holyfield, I'd be like, yeah, sure, go ahead. That actually is a fight that's safe. Yeah, go ahead, do that
Yeah,
fight.
right.
Like, but you
I
can
know.
live in that fight. Like he won't kill you.
Yeah, see that's the thing with athletes. A lot of athletes, Tyson's legs won't be the same. His footwork won't be the same, but his power, he can still punch.
Actually,
like
Tyson's
it's just-
technique has never left him.
Yeah, you see him on
disagree with
working
that.
out on the heavy
Yeah,
bag.
yeah,
He's
like
pretty-
Tyson has never forgotten that peekaboo style
Right.
technique. It has never
yes,
left
but
him.
there's no way his footwork is the same. It's impossible.
It's a little
Just
slower, probably,
age
but
age would
No,
would do that.
technically is the same. It's slower than it was when he
Slower.
was in his 20s, but it like the technical aspect is
It looks
still
the same.
Like,
I
like,
know,
like
that's-
he's
that's
still
ex-
doing the
that's
wrong.
exactly
he's
what
still
I
doing
just. That's exactly what I just
Oh.
said. His footwork is going to be slower because of his age. That's.
Oh, I
just-
thought you meant
I said-
technically sound is not
no,
the same. Okay.
but that's his only. That would be his only thing. and people think, oh, because he's old, he can't punch, and I'm just like, my God, he gets one good one on Paul, and it's lights out.
Deontay Wilder right now. I swear to God, I think he beats Deontay Wilder right now. I don't think he beats Tyson Fury, but I think yes.
Mike Tyson?
Yes, I think he beats Deontay Wilder right now.
You know what?
You have a low opinion of Wilder, don't you?
I have a very low opinion of Wilder. I think he is the worst champion that has been champion, other than the guy. There's one other dude who lost the champion. No, he lost the championship. He fought both Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, and he had like a championship. He was from Europe or whatever, but he really sucks.
Lomachenko?
No, Lomachenko is actually a really good fighter. Like I really wish. He's he doesn't box now, but he was a fighter back when after Pacquiao had fought De La Hoya or whatever, he fought like a dude from England. I really wish I could remember his name. I'm gonna look up Manny Pacquiao fights to see if I can find his name.
Angel Acosta just said Cejudo has to train fighting. Some people just train to improve fighting. I'm not sure exactly what that's in reference to. I don't know why he mentioned Cejudo. I don't think. Did anyone mention him?
Manny Pacquiao fights.
Okay. Maybe he is trying to start a conversation about Cejudo. I just need more clarity, Angel. Yeah, Russell Curry says Wilder had a hand of God, but his footwork was horrible.
Simon, it wasn't him.
Stephen Allen says Tyson is overrated. I beat him several times on Punch-Out. That's true.
Yeah.
That's right, Jason. Remember Punch-Out? Stephen was the first one to beat Mike. We couldn't beat him. Remember? We kept losing to Mike Tyson.
Very much.
Yeah,
we watching it,
but we watched. Stephen got all the way to Mike Tyson. I remember we were cheering him on, and he finally beat him, and it was like a big deal. I was like, oh my God, he's the only one we knew who beat Mike Tyson in the game.
Ricky Hatton.
Yeah, I remember seeing him. What about him?
I believe that's the other worst champion that ever existed.
Okay, Angel Acosta says I'm
the worst champions that ever got belts.
Angel Acosta
if you know of anyone else, you can let me know. But those are the two I have.
Angel Acosta says I'm a fighter. I'll smack him up. He's ducking me at 125 and 135. That's why he challenged Volkanovski. Are you aware of this person, Angel Acosta?
No, I don't know who Angel Acosta is.
He says he's a fighter, and he says that that Cejudo, for some specific reason, is UFC. He says UFC got Moreno to win belt, but I'm actually a wrestler. Who was your last fight against, Angel? And did you win?
What promotion is he in? What promotion are you in?
That's what I was trying to figure out.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean,
who boxed tonight on Showtime, Russell?
These fights are weird. These fight matchmaking, like Mike Tyson with Paul, those type of things are kind
of strange. A lot of that going on.
There's still a lot going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them are entertaining.
Oh yeah, no, Lomachenko won.
Halo. He fights with Halo Promotions. Do you know what Halo Promotions?
Mm-mm. Where's that at? I wonder. Doesn't matter. He won't be. Henry won't fight anyone outside the UFC anyway. So. Henry's an Olympic gold medalist in wrestling.
Is he really?
Yes. He won the gold medal in 2000 and the 2008 Olympics, I think. Or 2012?
Wait, isn't he the guy training John Jones right now?
Yeah, John actually just left town a week or two ago. But yeah, he was training him here in town. Yeah. Fight Ready has a lot of big fighters in there, man. They got a lot of Paul Costa trains out of there. Wiley Zhang trains out of there. John Jones, Henry Cejudo. Someone fighting tonight trains out of there. Who was that? Eric Anders.
Okay, Jason. Angel Acosta says he's 4-2 underground. It's in Lancaster, California.
Okay. Oh, that's over there by Dominic Reyes's area.
He says Mighty Mouse is ducking too.
Lancaster's right near me. Oh well.
Mighty Mouse sucks. Listen, the problem going back to Khabib, I just want to get my feelings out on this one. I don't think that you should quit when you're still capable, more than capable. I mean, did he even hit his total prime, or
no? He's just entering.
Or is he
prime.
pre-prime?
But he said he retired because his father died. I mean,
no. He said he retired because his mom said he's not allowed to fight any longer. That's actually what he said.
So Dominic Reyes just said the same thing Aaron said. I mean, Dominic Cruz said the same thing Aaron just said.
He promise to his
he
brother
did win.
that he would
When did he
never
say
fight
that?
anymore. So
about a week ago.
That's kind of honorable if he keeps that promise.
I said it 3 weeks ago. No, I said it a month ago.
Depends how you look at it.
Sometime recently, Dominic Cruz said that he doubts someone's GOAT status when they retire undefeated. He says that means they either didn't challenge themselves, or when they start to feel like they're going to get challenged, they leave.
That's what I was wondering, because I'm thinking now that people, you get out now while you still got that undefeated record.